Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. We are into the fourth part of Sri Krishna's story today. We are going to see today the pranks of Krishna, also his divine powers. One day, the bigger children, including Krishna's brother Balarama, rushed out to eat the fruits of a tree growing in the compound. Krishna loved those fruits, so he toddled after them, even though nobody invited him. These are the jamun fruits, naval param in Tamil, that violet color fruits which is very juicy. They shooed him off, saying that he is too small. Still, he insisted on accompanying them. They agreed because he will howl and everybody else also will know what the children are up to. So they warned him, do not eat even single fruit. They were climbing up the tree, they would put the fruits down, and Krishna's job was to pick it up and store it. He agreed to it. But once the fruits started falling down, the color and the shining fruit tempted him so much and he started to cram them into his mouth. In his hurry to eat as much as he could, he had not seen the mud in that. Quite a bit of mud also found its way into his mouth. They were very angry, for one, that Krishna had eaten so much of fruits, second, that he had eaten mud also. So they brought Yashoda. Yashoda was looking sternly at him. Have you been eating mud? Krishna shook his curly head and started sniffing loudly as a prelude to a big howl. But he dared not open his mouth because there was quite fruits unfinished, swallowing in his mouth. And Krishna, who had become a human child out of sport, without any loss of his divine powers, opened his rosebud mouth. Yashoda bent forward to peer more closely, and what she saw, she felt herself to be whirling in space, lost in time. For inside the baby's mouth was seen the whole universe of moving and unmoving creation. Actually, this is the second time Yashoda saw the universe in Krishna's mouth. Earth and its mountains and oceans and the moon and stars and all the planets were there. She was wonderstruck to see the land of Braja and the village of Gokula and herself standing there with the child Krishna beside her with a wide open mouth. Am I going mad? Or is this a dream of the magic brought by this strange child of mine? Krishna, she cried, for she felt her heart whirling. Immediately he shut his mouth and she got back her equilibrium. Why have you been eating? She started and then she stopped in mid sentence. What a fool she was. This child carried the whole universe within himself and she was worrying about a few grains of sand. She hugged him, Krishna, Krishna, how gifted she was. And she carried the baby inside her house. The others were perplexed. What happened to Yashoda Ma? She is not scolding Krishna and she is crying. What is happening? And meanwhile, Nanda and the other elders among the Gopas started to feel alarmed. There are these extraordinary happenings in the area and number of miraculous escapes of Krishna seem to be happening. So they had a conference to decide what the best could be done. An old man called Upananda declared that there may be something wrong in that place and the God alone can protect their child and kept him from harm. So he suggested that it would be better to shift to a new place called Vrindavana, the nearby forest. and it was noted for a lot of pasture for the cows because they need that. This is important for the cows. And all of them readily agreed. They loved Krishna, for his safety, they are ready to do anything. Then the old men, the women, the children, and their possessions were loaded on the carts, and the whole cavalcade set forth with the cows marching in front, the carts following, and the men and priests behind, the men carrying bows in their hand to protect the whole people, the settlement. How picturesque was the way, and how lovely the scene. The calves, they moved softly as they ran to keep up with their mothers. The bells on the horns of the bulls tinkled merrily, keeping time with the bells on the wheels of the carts. The Gopalas blew their horns and trumpets, and the gopis sitting in the carts sang lyrics about the pranks of their beloved Krishna. What a beautiful sight it was! Balarama and Krishna were seated in a new cart on the laps of their mothers, and neither Yashoda nor Rohini felt the tediousness of the journey, listening to their prattle. They jolted along in the carts until the sun set in the west, and they reached the outskirts of Vrindavana, which was bathed in soft glow of setting sun. So they have reached the new abode. Please subscribe to my channel, Jayanthi's 5-minute stories. We will see further stories of Krishna in the coming weeks. Thank you.